props to the people like Luka, even Kata Bates. You know, given these guys that we didn't play them at all. Obviously, Luka was getting his time in Austin, and he was being a superstar in the Gubble, right? But uh, Kata Bates has just been sitting at the end of our bench for the entirety of this season, and we
Mhm.
told him that he was going to be getting minutes, and he stepped up to the plate. Uh, Obviously, nobody is expecting him to come out and put up 20 and 5, right? But he still came out and did his job, even though he had gone uh I he just didn't really have like the biggest role. Like he was still just like a body out there, and it didn't look like he was being a negative. Like I said earlier, there wasn't at all a point this week where I was like, man, get this guy off the court, because they like both Luca and Kata Bates had just kind of stepped up to the plate and were ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, and man, okay, so, you know, I wouldn't say that like I wouldn't say we've been like overly negative on Luca. I mean, I've kind of been a little bit like just poking at him just because like, we all see the same things, and which is like you can see where there's that lack of connection from him to the rest of the team sometimes on the court. Uh, um, and so he goes to Austin. He starts playing pretty aggressive and doing a lot of really good things. And then like I don't know how like fortuitous it was, but it's crazy. Like as soon as he started showing his showing that that he's being more in the flow of the offense and everything like that, then boom, he gets called right back, right? Like he has to come back. So it was like the perfect opportunity. Like everybody in Spurs Twitter and Spurs universe was just like, okay, here we go. Like we're just gonna be watching Luka. Like I think that,
Mhm.
and then it was probably exasperated by the fact that Pop put him in the starting lineup. But yeah, I agree. Him coming in, Luka coming in, I think it was last night. Sean Elliott had said, "I'm gonna butcher what he was saying. I'm gonna try to paraphrase a little bit, but he was basically just saying, uh, um, like sometimes Luca would be looking lost out there, and he didn't score tonight, or at the time he had 0 points. I can't remember if he finished with any last night, but he was saying like he was like he didn't score tonight, but he's in the game." He's in the game mentally. He's in the game. He's right
Mhm.
there. So yeah, that step one was that, right? And that was just like get past that step, get past that step. So man, it's so good to see him kind of break through that a little bit. Because we're here to encourage him, no matter how many shots he's missing, no matter like all that kind of stuff. If no matter what mistakes he's making, we want him to be out there showing that he's trying to get through those mistakes, right? Like that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
And then I do want to just give a shout out because I didn't really pay attention to it too much while it was happening. But I saw a lot of people highlighting and sharing clips and all that kind of stuff of a lot of his like defensive work that he did last night. And yeah, man, like he's very active. He's got a lot of length, and so that's why I was asking the question. So Jake, I'll ask it, and we can talk about it. When we kind of get more people back on our roster and everything like that, do you think that that he deserves to stay, right? Like, do you think that it's in his best interest or the team's best interest to send him back to Austin to let him play more? Because obviously he's playing now because of the roster shakeup. When KJ comes back, when Rudy comes back, those minutes shrink pretty fast. So it's like I don't know. What do you think? Where you stand on that right now?
I'm on the side of let's still continue this year of let's put him back in Austin. Let's let him develop even more, just so that because like you said, like the minutes, it's just not there for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's still two, three other guys ahead of him in the depth chart where I'm like, all right, I still want to give these guys minutes, and obviously positions can be different, right? Because maybe we do like obviously he's played a lot of like the three these last couple of games,
Yeah.
and for the most part everybody sees him as a four. So it's like that's another thing real quick. When I saw the lineup of like I think it was like Luca, Trey, and maybe LaMarcus, it might have been Jakob, either or, right? When I saw all three of them out there on the court together, I was like, oh my god, I love this, because it's like it in terms of having Luca, Trey, Yak out there, that's three 6'10" guys that I don't obviously Trey's not the greatest defender, and Luka is still young, but like that's if we could get all three of those guys to at least be decent on defense and have a 6'10" 3-man wall, like kind of like just like out there ready to be humongous against some small ball lineups, like I would be happy about that. But anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, that uh unless there is like another shortage of like, all right, we don't have a lot of threes or we don't have a lot of fours, maybe we can start putting Luca back in the lineup again. But other than that, I'd still only say let's just keep him in Austin. Let's just let him develop more in the Gubble and learn to be more aggressive, like how he already is.
Yeah, I think I would agree. For all the reasons that you said. Plus, I think that the bubble is kind of what helped spur that pushing forward. So
Hmm.
rather than just put him right back on the bench, I would rather just it's okay. Hey, you got a chance to see. You were doing good things. You got a chance to see that if you continue to have that same mindset, that you'll have positive results. Obviously, you're not scoring 20 something a game in the NBA, but you can see right away, you can see the change, you can see it. So I think that would be like, I don't know how many games he's going to end up being with us, two so far, right? So let's say he ends up getting, I don't know, like 8 games or something like that. I'm not too sure how,
The the thing that I think I've been seeing is that we're not gonna like Pop said something about us not having everybody ready to go before All-Star break.
yeah, how many games until that spot?
Um, and I'm pretty sure that's literally just like the this week, and then next week is All-Star weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And
And it's
then
coming up
we
quick.
go back we go back Tuesday. We honestly don't have the Spurs don't have that big of a break because I'm pretty sure we play on Friday and then we play Tuesday after All-Star weekend. So we don't really have that big of a break, but that means that we still have 3 games this week, and then maybe we'll have them coming back in after this week coming in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say we have sorry. Oh, dang. I pulled up the second half schedule because I wanted to. We'll bring that up here in a little bit. But all right. So let's just say we have them for a handful of games. I think that that's a good. I think that's good to say. Okay, you have like your sample size now of some good things that you saw happening with your game when you translated it to the NBA. Now let's just keep that developmental train rolling, and let's really shoot for like next year making you a bigger rotational piece. I think that his timeline feels pretty natural like that. So I'm right there with you on that. Let's see real quick before we switch on. We got Ryan. How you doing, Ryan? Good morning. The good old fam, checking in on us. Thanks for being here. um, but yeah, overall, man, Luka has just shown a lot of good things, and we haven't seen his offensive stuff kind of translate so far in terms of him catching maybe on a swing and letting those. He has that quick release three. We haven't seen too much of it yet, but we have seen the aggressiveness. He had that one missed dunk on that baseline run, which was
Yeah,
real cool.
that almost put back slam, man. Uh I was in the truck like going somewhere. And so I was just watching it on my phone, but I had like my headphones on. My parents are up and just driving, and they just see me going, "Whoa!" Like cuz Luca just like came out of nowhere and almost got it in. I would have been happy to see it. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, and the thing that you love about those plays is because if you put yourself, everybody's wants to see him do well, but you don't want to be too impatient, right? So if you're like me, and there's been moments where you've been like, come on, Luca, like just show me something, like, and getting
mhm.
a little impatient. If you're like me, then I try to conceptualize it a little bit like, okay, we see a play like that, him running, missing that dunk, but you see the energy. Like I put that along the lines of some of the plays that we were seeing from like Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson, like a year ago, 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, and think about where Lonnie and Keldon are now versus when you were first started seeing those plays from them, right? Where you were like, oh my god, and then you're like, oh, he missed, but when he gets it, it's gonna be so good. So like, when you see a play, when you see Luka throw down a play like that, or just show that hustle, you're like, you already can start to see looking forward and be like, okay, good. Now we're on the
Hmm.
right track. Now let's just keep on going this direction. So
For sure.
big shout out to whatever they're doing in Austin, and most importantly to the work that Luka's putting in
Hmm.
to get himself ready for all the stuff that they're throwing at him. So
And
uh, um,
that's definitely one thing that I love about being a Spurs fan is the fact that we just have literally like one of the greatest development development staff, whatever it is, like the best of the best are here to make our guys that much better, and it
yeah,
and it happens so many times. And obviously there's a couple of those players where it's like, we develop them and we're like, oh, I can't wait for our future, but then they just leave and we're just like, oh man, like I wish you would have stayed, right? Like uh obviously there's like a couple of them like Kojo and Kyle Anderson where it's like, it just kind of wasn't fitting in the time anymore, and we just didn't like, if we would have had Kyle Anderson now, then maybe we don't have like Keldon or something like that, right?
yeah,
Uh, and so it's like, oh, I would much rather have Keldon over Kyle Anderson right now, but um, like still, like it's very awesome to see that like we can get these guys, especially the fact that we get like we're for the most part like DJ and Derek are 28 and 29 respectively, and look at how good they are, like I that's the one thing that like I'm very excited to see what we can do with Devin, and like one of the reasons why this year I was kind of just like having the thoughts and the ideas of like, well, if this is going to be a strong draft and we end up getting a high pick in this strong draft, like imagine like the superstar that we're gonna make. We made Kawhi into a superstar, and he was a 15th pick at the time.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
and there are certain players that have that potential, but that potential can only be reached like by so much because of the team and the environment around them. We put Kawhi in a great system, in a great environment for him to not just become a solid like a 3-and-D two-way type of player that people were probably expecting him to be, but to actually be a superstar that has a great offensive um a great offensive bag and still can lock down your best player on a night to night basis.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's like I I can't wait because obviously Luca, we drafted him with the 19th pick. That means that we had high hopes, or like the Spurs have you know the ideas of this guy can be a star for us. And so it's like, all right, uh at first, like you said, yeah, it's like some of those bits where you're just kind of like poking and you're like, come on, Luca, get your head in the game, like I want to start seeing something. And now we are starting to see something, and it's just like,
yeah.
why would we ever doubt us? Why would we
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
doubt us?
And going off of what you were saying is like we get a little spoiled because we know that our developmental program that we send our players through is worthy. You know what I mean? We've seen results before. I think now it's just before we were spoiled in the sense that we could see the development, but we didn't 1,000,000% need the development for the well-being of our team. Like we could always still go back to Timmy and Tony and Manu and rely on that. And then as we're relying on that, we're building up these other guys. But now it's like we're needing our young guys to be developing and learning and leading and winning, and they're all having to kind of do it all, which is great. At some point, Tony had to do the same thing. He had to be a leader and a young guy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's okay. It's been tons of fun. Like you said, just being able to see a little bit more in depth, especially now. Like uh, um, the G League is just a little bit more in your face now. And so even though Spurs fans have kind of already been a little bit tapped into Austin for a while, now like the G League, I feel like it's just a lot easier to kind of see some of the games and see some of the highlights and understand the work that they're putting in, and seeing it translate over over to us. So yeah, big shout out to Luka in what he's done so far. I'm looking to see it continue, even though he won't be starting. I doubt he'll be starting, anymore. Maybe he will. Maybe it's just a position thing on a game to game basis. See if we move him around a little bit. All right, Jake, you want? Is there any other?